Hey, what's going on, my lovely supporters? It's your boy Six Pass Dunga back again with yet another video. So I wanted to do a reaction on this video. Did Boruto just confirm the destruction of Konoha by Kawaki? As you guys know, Boruto did something extremely smart that altered the future. He basically used Kawaki so he could survive his fight against JURA. It was like the craziest trade-off. For Boruto to live, he had to strengthen Kawaki, which would come back to bite him in the butt at a later time. So I guess this is a good time to kind of like talk about that and see where we might be at in the story and how can we relate it to that incident that happened to cause Kawaki to destroy Konoha. Now, first things first, we are less than 100 subscribers away from 11,000. We just hit 10,000 not that long ago, and we're about to hit 11K. So if you guys could just kindly subscribe, you know, that would mean a lot to me. The faster we can get 11K, we can hit 12K, and then 13, and so forth and so on. So I need that support, you guys, you know, I really appreciate it. But as you guys know, Naruto Explained, one of the top guys in the Naruto/Boruto community. Also, he is a great guy. I'm gonna leave the link to his channel down below in the description, so you know, go check him out, show him some love. As you guys know, we always do these reactions with positive intentions, just trying to be a positive force in the community. It's too much negativity these days, so you know, we just show love around here, bro. But without further ado, let's hop into the video.
The Hidden Leaf Village burns. The Hokage monument has been shattered. Brothers torn apart by destiny, torn apart by omnipotence. But this isn't some far-off future anymore. It may have already begun to start happening. All because Boruto told Kawaki something that he was never meant to know at this point in time. Something that KASHIN KOJI did not want shared at this very moment. In one instance, one choice by Boruto may have created a monster even more dangerous than JURA. And the irony, Boruto had good intentions. He did it to save the world. But as the expression goes, the path to hell, it is paved with good intentions. Join me in today's newest Naruto.
I can see the vibe for this video.
We're going to take a look at why Boruto may have accidentally doomed Konoha's destruction in his quest to take down JURA, potentially sooner than KASHIN KOJI planned for JURA to be defeated, and how Boruto is set to learn a very important lesson when it comes to being a singularity of fate. Also, if you haven't already...
Okay, so going into this video, I already see what the vibes are. I think I have a decent understanding of what he's going to talk about. But let's just keep in mind before we hop into the video, this future that Boruto birthed because of him telling Kawaki about his limiters could not be avoided. Or let's just say it could have been avoided because obviously he could have just not told Kawaki about his limiters, but then Boruto would have died. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if Boruto dies, the future is doomed anyway. So the only way for Boruto to survive in this moment was for him to tell Kawaki about his limiters. So now that he did, Boruto lives a little longer, but he's gonna have to battle Kawaki at the end. Remember when Boruto told Kawaki that he would come to this conclusion either way? Either way, if Boruto told him about his limiters or not, he would have still eventually got his limiters removed without Boruto telling him anything. But at that point, it would be too late because Boruto would have already died by JURA. So now we gotta pay attention to something Koji already said. Koji told Boruto that if he dies, a very consistent conclusion follows that. Kawaki gets devoured. So even if he got his limiters removed, Koji's telling us right then and there that he still would have gotten devoured. So this is the only plausible future to where Boruto has a chance of defeating the Shinju, but it came with the price of strengthening Kawaki to your level, or even beyond your level. So obviously Boruto's gonna have to get stronger to match that power. But let's just see how he explains it.
KASHIN KOJI, a being who is capable of turning one future into reality if they follow his plan. Koji gave Boruto the map, told him he is the linchpin to making this happen. This only works if Boruto does not choose to draw outside the lines. And in typical Boruto fashion, where the guy sees a problem, understands where the cheat codes are, by Masashi Kishimoto's own words in 2015, Boruto saw the quickest way to get rid of JURA, and he took that chance. This is ultimately what led to Boruto deviating, knowing that time was short, knowing that JURA was growing stronger by the day.
One thing that I really do want to know, and we'll probably find out later on, you know, after Boruto and Kawaki get out this fight alive, did Boruto foresee this? Did he know that Kawaki was going to come help him in Sunagakure? That's something I do want to know. Like, aside from Koji giving him orders and whatnot, did Boruto planned this out. Initially, when he went to go save Konohamaru, it seemed like a impulse rather than something he planned out. He seen Kashin Koji kinda like did him dirty with the Yodo thing, but then he wanted to make sure he saved Konohamaru. But did he know that Kawaki would come? Because like I said, it seemed like an impulse. It seemed like another irrational decision by Boruto. You know, he wasn't thinking. But at the end of the chapter when Kawaki actually arrived, he said, "You're late." He told Kawaki that he was late, insinuating that he thought he might come? Question mark? So maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's a good possibility. But I would love to see Boruto do that. I don't want to see Koji just giving him orders and him following it to a T. I want to see Boruto learning about the visions that Koji has gotten and making his own judgment on how to go about changing that future. I mean, Boruto telling Kawaki about his limiters even caught Koji off guard. He was like, okay, that's cunning. Very, very cunning, Boruto. I see you. It's almost like he wouldn't even have thought of that himself. So, I mean, they don't really call him a genius for nothing. And I really hope that's the direction that IKEMOTO takes in the future. Just let Boruto hear about the events that's going to happen in the future and let him decide how to go about it. He has to learn now because, I mean, I hate to break it to you, Kashin Koji is not going to be in the story for the whole time. I can see him being killed off sooner rather than later. I mean, the Shinju are already looking for him. So yeah, it's only a matter of time. I see what direction IKEMOTO is trying to take. So Boruto has to be ready for when Koji isn't there.
Boruto made a choice. He gave Kawaki intel, likely from Kashin Koji, that was given to him in confidence.
By Amato,
and he told
right?
Kawaki that you have
Got
limiters on you that are holding you back. You don't have Ishiki's full attack power. You got his dojutsu, you have his abilities, but you don't have the full power. It's because Amato raised your defense and raised your regeneration, but he suppressed your attack capability. Kawaki, driven by fear and rage and that obsessive need to protect Naruto, he took it to Amato. He demanded that he get those limiters removed. The fear in this case obviously comes from the fact he's not strong enough to take on the threats that are out there, and thus
I think he knew Kawaki would come and save him.
Remove those limiters. Kawaki
he definitely
now
knew.
Wields Ishiki's full destructive might far earlier than Kashin Koji ever foresaw, and if we take Kawaki at his words, he told Amato, use whatever methods, scientific and otherwise being a hint potentially at Shibai cells that Kawaki knows Amato possesses. He wanted his power level raised exponentially, and this creates a future branch that never existed before now.
Some people may say this right here, this panel right here, use any means, whether scientific or otherwise, to make me an even stronger monster than them. Some people may see that and be like, you know what? Amato made Kawaki stronger than JURA. And that's perfectly fine if you see it that way. But what I see it as, Amato doesn't even know how strong JURA is. He can't even comprehend his power. All Amato can do right now is just make Kawaki as strong as he possibly can, whether that surpasses JURA or not. One thing we know for sure right now is that Amato very likely maxed out Kawaki's offensive abilities. So he cliffs off characters like Boruto. He's stronger than characters like Code, JUGAN, that's for sure. I have no doubt about that. I'll even go as far as to say he can match Ishiki in strength. But then if you think his absolute cap is Ishiki, then you have to say, you know what, who's stronger, Ishiki or JURA? We still haven't seen the full capability of JURA's power. I mean, I don't think he went all out versus Boruto. He damn sure didn't go all out versus Himawari. So will Kawaki force JURA to reveal that hidden power he's been holding back all this time? That's something we have to ask ourselves. So this statement right here can be interpreted multiple ways. If you interpret it the first way, that Amato just gonna make Kawaki stronger than all the Shinju, then I guess he's going to win. But if you take it like how I think, then there's still some room for guesses and theories. You know what, right now, go below in the comment section and comment how you interpret this statement right here. Do you think Amato knows how strong JURA is and he just magically just made Kawaki cliff that power? Or do you think Amato just made Kawaki as strong as he possibly can? Or maybe as strong as his body will hold up?
And it's already warping the timeline. Hence we saw Kashin Koji basically receive that DLC patch update midway through his conversation with Ada. This is why we have Kawaki confronting JURA with those enhanced powers and doing so with a brutal efficiency where even JURA is asking himself, how did Kawaki get this strong
Oh yeah,
this fast? In
that
the
was
short
gruesome.
term, it looks like it's gonna work. Kawaki now possesses the strength when combined with Boruto to take down JURA, just as Boruto said, I'm gonna need your help to take this guy down. That Shinju invasion, it is being forced to get put on hold. If you can chop the head off the snake, the rest of them should fall. And Amato himself, he's terrified. He doesn't have leverage over Kawaki anymore. Kawaki has all the leverage. He said, I'm not going to revive your daughter until I kill everyone I have planned.
Kawaki had leverage on that, but he didn't have all the leverage. Well, let's just say it like this. Kawaki had enough leverage to make Amato bend to his will. But don't get it wrong, Amato still has something Kawaki wants. Kawaki wants to be able to eliminate the OTSUTSUKI. He wants to be able to eliminate the Shinju from the world, Code, basically everything that threatens Naruto. So to do that, he's going to use any means possible, whether it be strengthening himself, taking his karma back, whatever. And the path to power, Amato holds that in his hands. Amato is Kawaki's only way to getting stronger, of course without training I might add, but you know, Amato stands in that way from Kawaki reaching his goal, and vice versa. Kawaki's the one that has to bring his daughter back to life. But one thing gives Kawaki the main advantage in this. It's the fact that Amato said that he didn't want to bring his daughter back in a world that was going to end anyway. That's the whole reason he betrayed JUGAN, because he was going to destroy the planet. And that gets in the way of Amato's plans. So now when you look at the Shinju, they're just plain out divine trees. The planet is doomed if they don't do something about them. The planet is doomed if somebody doesn't do anything about them. Kawaki is saying, I will get rid of the Shinju, you just have to strengthen me. And then after that, I promise, I will bring your daughter back to you. So boom, you get your daughter back and you get a peaceful world where you and your daughter can live in. Amato would be foolish not to take that chance. So that's the main advantage he has over Kawaki. Just that statement right there gave Kawaki that advantage.
Kawaki's new power, it might not just be a solution. Instead, it could be a catalyst, a weapon of absolute destruction held by a boy in Kawaki who, if we're being honest, his soul, it is already breaking. We have talked about previously in Boruto TBV VORTEX about how Kawaki has shown signs of being on the verge of a breakdown because someone like Damon keeps reminding him, Omnipotence swapped the memories of everyone of Boruto and Kawaki. You're able to take advantage of that. But that lie about Naruto being dead, Omnipotence has no bearing on that. People can figure out you're lying. What are you going to do then? Boruto just gave Kawaki the power to turn things into a very explosive outcome. If someone confronts him about Naruto being dead, Boruto is slowly getting allies. There are some who are slowly waking up to the fact that Kawaki might not be Naruto's real son. The next logical conclusion is to sit there and wonder, is Naruto truly dead? If we go back
Kawaki
to what
better
Boruto
do something.
told Kawaki, he said that Konoha does not need a civil war. That is why he did not tell people the truth about Omnipotence. Shikamaru knows, Kawaki doesn't know, Shikamaru knows, but that's why Boruto did what he did. It goes back to what Sasuke told Boruto in chapter 69 of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, which is that he would be willing to take on the hatred of the village and that it shouldn't be Kawaki. Boruto, in so many ways, is attempting to do what Sasuke said he would have done in Boruto Part 1. This brings us to the flash forward sequence. Boruto versus Kawaki, Konoha in ruins, and Boruto solemnly looking at his karma, looking at Kawaki, asking, was this the only possible outcome? We have always asked ourselves.
Man, when the series first started, I'm pretty sure that went over everybody's heads. Was this the only possible outcome? And it's crazy how far we came from that. Now we know he's talking about prescience. Prescience has led Boruto and Kawaki here right now. Every action you see from chapter 1 to chapter 24 is all leading up to this. If prescience wasn't a thing, Boruto would have been dead, and that's crazy to think about. The way Boruto said it too, I think prior to that battle, he was trying everything in his power to avoid this. That's why he said, was this the only possible outcome? It was unavoidable from the start. That means Kawaki's resolve was so solid, there was no convincing him that there was another way. You know, like how Naruto convinced Sasuke, like, come on, bro, you don't have to start this revolution. You can support me as the Shadow Hokage. Let's bring peace another way. You're telling me Kawaki's resolve was that strong, there was nothing they could have done to avoid this future? So I think chapter 15 will haunt us for the rest of the series. That chapter will be very iconic because from Boruto telling Kawaki about his limiters, that set it off. That chapter has made this future absolute. Because if that, this is 100% going to happen no matter what they do. They can do different things and have different events, but it's all gonna end up in this future right here.
The future, it is fractured. This isn't a prophecy anymore. It is now momentum. Boruto's attempt to shortcut salvation, it has sped up destruction instead. Very in character for Boruto when you look at what Kishimoto originally said. As I said a few minutes back, Boruto's a character who always is able to find the shortcuts, even when he isn't actively looking, because he's just that smart. Kawaki right now, because of Boruto's actions, he isn't just powerful. He might be on the road to being unchecked. We don't know what Yamato did to him. He is emotionally scarred.
He's pretty much already unchecked.
Rigid. He is a consequentialist. As long as he gets the results he wants, he doesn't care who he hurts or steps on. Haunted by the belief that power alone can protect those who he loves, namely Naruto. In so many ways, we can argue that Kawaki doesn't truly trust others. He's damn sure not going to trust KASHIN KOJI. He doesn't trust Yamato. And he could get to a point where he doesn't trust Boruto anymore. He's not at that point now, but at some point in the future, he very well could be. Think about it. Boruto, alone, reflecting, KASHIN KOJI's words echoing about how they need to guide from the shadows. Boruto didn't step out of the shadows with bad intentions to tell Kawaki what he did, but because he stepped out of those shadows, this is where a very important understanding of Buddhism and karmic chains have to be talked about.
Even though he says that and is 100% true, Kawaki could just be pushed into a corner and be forced to destroy Konoha that way. At the same time, I have a hard time seeing Kawaki stomp on and destroy everything that Naruto worked so hard to protect. So there has to be a damn good reason behind that. And I don't think that destruction is targeted towards Konoha directly, because he said the age of Shinobi is over. So for all we know, Konoha is the one place the destruction could start. He could go on to destroy the other 4 hidden villages too. Konoha could just be the first to get it. I don't even know if this is a word. But remember, I said Kawaki is an extremist, meaning everything he does, no matter what decision he makes, he takes that to the extreme. So if he decides one day, you know what, the Shinobi system has to go, he has the power to not only make that possible, but with the Shinju out the way, nobody can oppose him. There's no allied Shinobi forces, no none of that. It doesn't matter. We're not talking Madara here, we're not talking Obito, we're not even talking Ten Tails here. We're talking the Apostle of Destruction. To protect Naruto, that's something I can see Kawaki doing. He already believes Shinobi are destined to die early. Something he said to Sarada in I think chapter 78. And the reason he said that is because Sarada just couldn't mind her business. She wants to become Hokage, and protecting Boruto is something she feels like she needs to do. Sarada is very similar to Naruto in that aspect. He would have gotten in the way of their little fight too. So all I'm saying, if Kawaki thinks that Shinobi are destined to die early, all the more reason is to just get rid of the Shinobi system as a whole. Then Naruto has nothing to fight for, he can stay alive, he can basically stop putting himself in danger. But what do you guys think? I don't know. Let me know that in the comment section.
KASHIN KOJI's visions, they weren't just predictions. They were sacred possibilities, sacred probabilities for multiple possible timelines. And Boruto, in sharing information from one of them, with someone like Kawaki, someone whose own karma is unbalanced, not his literal karma seal, but the karma from the Buddhist perspective, Boruto's now broken that balance with Kawaki. This is the curse of being a singularity, to know, to choose, and to live with the weight of the choices that are made, even if they destroy everything that it is that you love. I also want you to think now about Boruto's determination, how he remembers Kawaki as a brother. That is a key tenet to Boruto's character, very much so like what we see with how Naruto was able to loosely adapt elements of Journey to the West, which inspired Dragon Ball. Boruto is also adapting loosely some of the elements of Journey to the West. Boruto's Journey to the West is Kawaki as a brother, just as how Naruto's was with Sasuke as a brother. And that's the tragedy. That's the hope. Boruto does not regret saving the world. If he had to make the same decision over again, he would do so. The only thing is that he might come to regret that he might have condemned Kawaki. And what I mean by this is that to Boruto, this was never about killing Kawaki. People like Shikamaru have said, hey, if this was me, I would kill Kawaki. I would tell everyone about the truth about Naruto and I would want justice. Boruto has never wanted that. And Kawaki is starting to understand that. It was always about reaching Kawaki. It was always about fixing things as brothers, not as enemies.
Also restoring the Uzumaki household. But I don't see that happening, you know. I don't think things will just go back to peaches and cream how they was before. With destruction like this, it's going to be consequences for somebody. Somebody's gonna have to give up their life for something very dear to them. Either Boruto's going to have to live the rest of his life as a rogue shinobi, somebody's going to have to give up their life, something has to happen. This series cannot end the same way that Naruto did. Well, I know it's not going to end the same, let's just say that.
Boruto will never fight him with hatred. He'll fight him with understanding. He'll fight him with love and compassion. And in using that understanding and using that love and using that compassion, Boruto is going to try to reach Kawaki and heal Kawaki and do the very thing that he told Shikamaru, which is reach Kawaki and get him to release Naruto of his own free will, of his own volition. Boruto, I want you to think of him in Kashin Koji's shoes, looking at multiple possible futures, now looking at a ruined future, but stepping forward anyway. Kashin Koji saw one path towards salvation and he wanted to stay on that one path. But Boruto, he saw a future where he does potentially save everything. But as he told Kashin Koji, if there's any timeline where he's supposed to kill Kawaki, he is never going to do it. Boruto wants his cake and to eat it too. He wants JURA defeated, but he also wants a path to forgiveness for Kawaki.
And here's something I see coming. It's gonna be something to be like, you know, the future where you save Kawaki and everything goes back to normal, that's gonna be like less than 1% chance, or like, it's gonna be a very low chance of that happening. The lowest odds of any future they ran into thus far. But somehow Boruto's going to reach it with powers beyond human comprehension. So I really can't wait to see that. Obviously, there's going to be a future where Boruto just ends up killing Kawaki and boom, the world is safe. By that time, JURA is going to be defeated. Maybe they found an answer for omnipotence, but one obstacle they can't avoid is Kawaki. And he's going to be the hardest obstacle simply because Boruto does not want to kill him. So first, let me start off and say great video by Naruto Explained. Like I said, if you guys want to check him out, the link to his channel will be down below in the description, so make sure you guys show him some love. So like I said, I really think the destruction of Konoha is going to start off at chapter 15. We're going to look back at that chapter from years to come and be like, yeah, it started here. This is where it all started. If Boruto didn't do this, how would the future have ended up? Well, obviously, I could tell you for one thing, Boruto would not be alive right now, and Kawaki would have probably got devoured, you know? I mean, Koji just said it, so we gotta believe him. I mean, obviously, Boruto didn't have to rush out to save Konohamaru, so there's that. But I guess it's just Boruto's nature, you know? You really can't avoid it. So I'm gonna say right now, this is all Konohamaru's fault. The destruction of Konoha is Konohamaru's fault. But anyway, that's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell so you know whenever I upload or go live for chapter spoilers. And without further ado, I'm gonna see y'all boys and girls on my next one. And I'm out. Peace.